Hey all, I have an interesting sort of project to share today where we have created one for the old machinery directive from 2006. And we're going to use our system to compare this old version of the machinery directive to the new version and see a little bit of how that works. So the very first thing I've done is I've gone over to gap analysis, and you'll see it takes a minute to load the validation results. Actually, I realize this isn't the first thing. The first thing you're going to see in just a minute. So as soon as this loads, we'll click into Run Gap Analysis, and we'll upload some project documents. As you can see in this case, I have actually uploaded a copy of the machinery directive. And one of the keys is that the file name right now must include machinery directive, though we've changed that in the future. So you don't need to do this. We'll hit next, and we will select an applicable standard here. So to do so, you have to search, and you can search and find exactly what I've selected here, which is the 2023 1230 EU, which is the new machinery directive. And we obviously also have 1542, a variety of other standards. And so we're going to go over to gap analysis. And now this renders the entire standard, lets us select all the appropriate clauses that we want to use. And you can click select all and submit this job for completion. So instead of actually doing this right now, we're going to go look at one that has already completed. So to do that, we're going to go back to gap analysis, go to ongoing gap analysis jobs, and take a look at the last one. And you can see that it'll bring back the results that we just saw a minute ago on the gap analysis page, which actually give us a clause by clause analysis of what exactly is going on. So you can see here that we have, for example, for every one of these items, a statement of comparison, what you're comparing it against. So in this case, we're comparing a particular clause of the 2023 machinery directive against the 2006 one. We have a statement regarding the equivalence status, which in this case is modified. We have some corresponding reference clauses. So for example, for this particular statement regarding control systems, we have a reference clause in Annex I of the original machinery directive, and some similar references in clause 1.2.1. And here are some key differences. So, for example, there is a statement that the target requirement introduces specific provisions for self-evolving control systems, which are not explicitly covered in the Directive 2006, which is quite a useful piece of insight. So we get this kind of item, we get impact assessments and transition guidance for every one of these as we go. Okay, so this is all fine and dandy. You can see a little bit of how we control whether it's using standard comparison or typical product evaluation mechanism. Let's go back over to gap analysis as a whole and view a summary of this entire thing. So we can generate this, and it'll take a minute. And here we have such a summary stating that every clause in 2006 versus 2023 does seem different in particular ways. And some key findings include, for example, some of these various points. So you can get a little bit of insight right here, and we can get started. Thanks. Very last thing I'll say is you can export all of this. You can export the summary. You can export the original gap analysis as either PDF or CSV, and move forward. Cheers.